Hey guys, Derek and Sally Tangmola here, and we are the owners of Auto Rehab. We've owned our own shop for 7 years, and we've been in the automotive industry for 15 plus years. Normally on this channel, what we do is bring you all of the inside tips and secrets of the automotive industry. Now, Auto Rehab does auto repair, maintenance, and performance, but we do not do body work. However, we have a lot of well-versed friends in that industry, and today we are bringing you a secret in the body work field. In this video, we're going to teach you how to prep your car properly for paint, why there's such a difference in so many prices when it comes to getting your vehicle painted, and how to tell if you're actually getting a quality paint job or if people have cut corners when they've done the work. So we're really excited. Derek, take it away.
A lot of you guys are car enthusiasts and love automobiles, so I just want to clarify, our shop does not do auto body work. We're not an auto body specialist kind of a center. I've had a lot of restoration projects. I've had cars that I enjoy and love and have built up and repainted, but I leave the painting to the professionals. However, I do know what's involved in getting it prepared for paint. So today we're going to cover a little bit about paint, about some of the basic details, just so that people are aware. For example, if you're in an accident or some kind of a fender bender, that you can know what happens when they repair a portion, and it looks okay to you at first, but I can show you what the end result looks like. So you all know that we have a Supra. This is a project that we're trying to restore, and it's a perfect example for what we're talking about. So when we got it, I don't know if you guys saw how it looked, but right now it looks far worse than it did when we got it. When we got the project, it still had windows in it and trim and door handles, and it had more of its stuff. However, part of this restoration, we want an excellent paint job. This is a car we're looking to keep around. We want it to look factory. We want it to be as correct or near factory as possible. To do that, we have to get paint to lay into all the corners as best as we can. To do that, we did have, as you can see up here, the windshield was removed because we want the paint to not only be on this surface, but we want it to drop down in and around, so that when we glue the new windshield in, there's not a paint line here where we tape. Oftentimes when you have a car painted, it's cheaper to tape off the moldings and then just paint the portion of metal that's visible. The downfall, and we'll show you towards the end of the movie, I have another vehicle that will show you what happens when it's painted like that. It can look good for a year or 2 or 3 or 5, but it does have a downfall. And then you can understand what the difference in money is. Talking about accidents, as you can see, this door looks shinier than this fender and this fender. This door may or may not be from this car, but this door was painted. At one time it was potentially hit or something on the side, only because this is a different paint than originally set here. Now when you get into a fender bender and the insurance fixes the spot that got hit, oftentimes in the far future, this is what the difference can potentially be, is that one portion was original paint, it's been in the sun for X amount of time, versus the cleaner, newer paint that will stay longer. Now we want this car to look excellent, so this entire car is going to be painted, but not only just painted, we have removed the door trim, the little molding that was here, we removed the door handles, we removed the mirror. We want all the metal painted all the way up to every edge so that it looks as factory as possible, that when we put the new moldings on it looks excellent. In doing so, we actually made this vehicle look worse than it was when we got it. If you come around here, as you can see, we removed the door panel, which is actually located right there, in order to get to the glass, which is right here. Removing all of the glass from the vehicle will ensure that the glass looks and doesn't get damaged, looks good, but also that we can paint every portion of this door after we remove the remaining. The other things we're going to remove is this window. This window is removed by pulling the interior panels out, and it unbolts from the inside. We will be removing the moldings off the target top, and we already removed the rear glass. Now here's where this car has one problem. There is rusting happening on this rear hatch. This is something that is very common to Supras. Water sits in the molding and sits down at the bottom, and when it breaks through the paint, it starts rusting. This is going to the body shop and it will be cut out. New metal will be put in, and they'll rebuild this whole rear portion that is rusted. We decided to remove the windshield wiper motor because we're going to shave it. So they're going to weld metal in here and make it flush so it's gone, and we're also doing that with the power antenna. We removed the taillights because we want paint to get inside here. We did remove interior trim panels so we can unbolt the rear bumper because we want paint in every corner. And we will be removing the spoiler, the other third brake light, and every panel we can get off. This kind of a paint job is very expensive because of the labor involved in disassembly. So the disassembly and the prep work is about 95% of the paint job time. It does not take very long for them to spray the car, but getting it prepared to paint is what takes so long. That's what makes pricing so different. Cheaper paint jobs will use cheaper paint, but also cheaper ways around the labor. So they'll disassemble less, they'll tape off more, they'll prep less, so they can get it done and out of it.
Here comes the other vehicle. That's a different paint job.
All right, so here's an example of a car that was painted cheaper. So they use a process where they will mask off the molding and prep the metal that's seen and then paint on top of it. In this case, they painted on top of the original paint. This car was originally a silver vehicle, and what you can see here is the edge is starting to peel away. So when you have the molding comes here and you paint up to that edge, there's a portion that's exposed to the elements that can flake off. And that's what you're seeing here. And this is from a cheaper paint job. The other thing you'll notice down here, they did not remove this bumper when they painted this car, and they just sprayed the paint over here. Again, these two portions move. This bumper is urethane and this panel is metal. And it was able to flake off, and there's the silver of the original paint job. Now, here, they didn't remove the taillight, and you see this flaking starting. I can pull it right off, and pieces will come right out. Because the paint didn't get a chance to go all the way to the edge and cure to the edge that it has a protective film from the elements. Now, on this side, we're going to cover or show you this part. When you paint a door to the edge, when it's open, the edge ends here. Paint goes on in layers. As clothes or anything brushes by here, it can flake the edge up off of it because this wasn't painted around. You can also see the overspray from not masking and just spraying. So these are examples of a poor paint job. This car probably looked very good when it first got painted. It's just the long lasting of the paint job isn't there. On the Supra, we removed the taillights, we removed all these panels, and we're going to paint every possible edge and disassemble as much as possible so that it is just the car. In fact, when it goes to paint, the fenders will be removed, the bumpers removed, the door will be removed, the trunk hatch will be removed, every panel will be off this car. The main body will get painted because you can't disassemble it, but everything that can come off will come off to paint to every edge before we put it together. This way it looks as factory as possible.